Is kayak fishing dead? So normally I don't do videos like this. Normally I don't follow social media to the point where it's like, I need to shoot a video on this as well. But these are one of those cases because normally I just kind of stay to myself, stay in my own little bubble, do videos on things I want to cover, promote, all that stuff. Lately you've been hearing around the internet and from many people that are well known talking about this subject. Is kayak fishing dead? Has it peaked? Is the sport itself over with? Nobody cares about it. Is the whole thing done? Is fishing kayaks getting too expensive? So it made me want to do this video because there's a lot of you out there who are just getting into the market, and many of you who are already into the sport or into this hobby or this passion that's starting to say, maybe I should get rid of my kayak. Will I be the only one out there on the water? If you are new coming to the sport, maybe you're like, maybe I shouldn't buy one. Maybe I will be the only one out there on the water in a kayak. But that's why I wanted to do this video, because when it comes down to it, who cares? The sport of kayak fishing, the sport of kayaking is not dead. Has it peaked? Just like everybody says, you have your ups and downs. A lot of these videos are opinions. Nobody can see the future. If you can, let me know what the winning lottery numbers are. A lot of these things are opinions, but there is a lot of facts to back it up. Is the sport of kayak fishing dead? No. You may see some tournament trails kind of closing their doors for the year, but they may be back. But at the same time, you see new kayak tournament trails opening up and just starting this year alone. There is so many new innovations coming out for our sport, for kayak fishing. Now, kayaking is a whole nother thing, and a whole nother level that I'm not too familiar with. The whole chasing the rapids and going down. I look at it this way. I used to mountain bike, and when I was in the mountain biking and biking scene, and you're around those people, you felt like the sport wasn't dead, and a lot of people wanted to do it. Why doesn't this person have a bike? You know, that's what you used to think. Same thing with kayak fishing. We are in this little niche and this little bubble, and we're like, why doesn't Fred across the street have a kayak? So when you're around the sport, you'll never feel like it's dead. When you're around the hobby, you'll never feel like it's dead because you are surrounded by those people. But if you're new coming into any sport, any hobby, it's new to you. So you do take what you see on the internet, on social media, almost to heart. And it makes you feel like maybe I shouldn't invest into a kayak. If I was new to the sport, that's almost how I would feel. But once again, who cares, right? Fishing in general has been around since we were born, since mankind was around. We used to fish to get food, to provide for our families or provide for ourselves. As we evolved as humans and we could just go to the store and buy whatever we wanted, we didn't have to go out and fish and hunt for food. It's done for us. We can go do it. Back to fishing. It's fishing, guys. Whether you do it from a boat, whether you do it from a little plastic vessel that we like to be on, a John boat, an inner tube, from the bank, it's fishing. So look at it this way. How we go fishing is how we do it. So if you feel like you want to get into the sport, but you feel like it's going to die, it's not, guys. You have your ups and downs, like I said before, of any sport, any hobby. You can have this big craze, and unfortunately now, it's a good thing but a bad thing. Unfortunately, we see what we see on the internet, and we see these little fads and these little crazes come in, and everybody jumps on the bandwagon, right? That's kind of what it did during COVID. Everybody couldn't be around people, so the big craze of going out on a kayak grew substantially. Everybody went out and bought a kayak or went out and bought a boat or whatever, right? Went out and bought an RV. Obviously, that whole craze is over with. So you are seeing the decline of kayak shops, but all the ones who've been around through it all are still there. A lot of these kayak shops are declining because people are not taking over. The next generation or the people can't afford to take over the shop. So these other shops where they may be, they open that shop as a retirement thing, like a retirement kind of job, but now they're ready to fully retire. So they close their doors and nobody's around to take it over. We know in the retail space, having the overhead of having a shop, having the overhead in your shop, putting out all that money, paying all that rent, especially around bigger towns or well-populated areas, your rent's going to be expensive. So it's hard to maintain a shop if the clientele around you is not big enough. So, a lot of people have these ideas. I want to open up a shop. I have a shop, the Real Kayak Shop, but I didn't do it with the intent to be a full-time job. It's a remote setup. I bring in new canoe. I only carry new canoes. I bring in new canoe, do any rigging for you, or take the kayak to you as a blank canvas. So I do it because I want to keep getting more people in the kayak. So I'm like, let me open up a shop, but I don't have overhead. I'm completely mobile. You reach out to me, I get you a new canoe, either, fully rigged or dropped off to your house as a blank canvas or whatever. And I keep it mobile. So my overhead is minute, but it gives me the ability to still get more of you guys into a kayak in the area that I live. A lot of people do this as a full-time job. So they go, jump in feet first, have all these great ideas, and they have great intentions, but they realize after being open for 6 months to a year that, wow, my overhead's really, really high, right? So you start looking at, okay, I spend $5,000 a month between rent, bills, having the equipment in my shop, and realize, okay, well, I've only sold 3 kayaks this month. I'm not making ends meet, so they close their doors. So the kayak fishing industry is not dead. That's why I want to do this video. It's just like any other sport, any other hobby. Bicycling, hunting. If something happens and the whole big craze starts, we see out on the internet and on social media, then it kind of dies off, and the people who joined or wanted to start doing it still continue to do it if they love it. But you might not see that big craze. So that's what's really happening now. You're not seeing that big craze or that big social media presence of kayak fishing. So people start to think that it's starting to die, it's starting to, plateau. Meanwhile, there's new companies opening up every month for kayak fishing, for accessories. Yak Attack and all the big companies out there that provide accessories for kayaks are always spending money on research and development and innovations and bringing new stuff to the market, because the kayak industry, the kayak fishing industry is still there. If it wasn't, they wouldn't be in business anymore. There's new ways to transport your kayaks, and there's always people coming up with new ways to transport it, whether it's a trailer, rooftop, on the, in the bed of your truck, etc. There's always new innovation coming out, and people coming out with new ideas and want to be able to sell it to us because they know the market is there. It's all marketing. It's all sales. It's all revenue. They wouldn't do it if they believed that the industry is dead. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because so many people out there do videos, and there's a lot more people out there that have a bigger influence than me that do videos, and most of them are positive. But I have seen some negative stuff lately, or videos out there saying that the industry's dead and all these places are shutting down, and before you know it, there ain't gonna be any more kayak sales. That's so far from the truth, guys. I mean, look at all the bigger kayak manufacturers. They're coming out with new models every year or every other year. They spend a lot of money in these molds to be able to make these kayaks that cost a lot of money. There's a lot of research and development into making these new models to sell to us, because the market is still there. So if you are in the market for a new kayak, now is a great time to be around our sport, around our hobby, because the cost of kayaks are not expensive. Yes, it can be. Many of us who kayak fish came from a boat, so we're used to having graphs on there and all the luxury we have on the boat, and we do this because we love it. So of course we're gonna want, 16 screens, 12 inches, forward-facing sonar and all that. It's just another means of us fishing. Like I was saying before, fishing is not dead. So whether you do it from a boat, kayak, inner tube, or bank, it's not dead. There's always new products from real companies. There's new braided line coming out. There's always new lures. So the fishing industry is thriving. It may not be as big as it was back in COVID, but the fishing industry goes hand in hand with how we go to catch the fish, whether it's on a boat, kayak, bank, or inner tube. So they're all blended together. There's always new products coming out. It's not dead. You can get a kayak now, very, very good kayak right now, that's made for fishing, specifically designed for fishing, well under $2,000. It could just be a paddle one, or it could be one with a drive on it, a pedal drive. We make these kayaks expensive, what you guys see on the internet and everybody doing all this cool new ways to rigging up their kayaks. And yes, that does add money. As soon as you start adding electronics and motors to your kayaks, it does get expensive, but it's still a lot cheaper than a boat. You always hear those comments, well, you guys might just you should just buy a boat. Listen, if we wanted to be in the boat to go fishing, we would be in the boat. And that's what you'd be seeing us post. Us out in our new Ranger boat, catching all these fish. We choose to be on a kayak, and we rig them the way we want to rig them. If you are new to the sport or looking to upgrade, now is the time to get your kayak, because as these kayaks evolve and we have our higher end models, the other models are obviously going to get a little cheaper in price. Now with the new tariffs that we got possibly going on here, yes, things may go up, but it ain't going to jump like right away. You know, you may see small increments on the cost of kayaks because they have no choice. They have to pass the cost down to the consumers so they still meet their margins. But the whole point of this video is, if you are watching this, I'm glad you're still along with me here. Don't get disgusted by what you see on the internet and say, I'm not going to do this, just because you may think it's going to die. And listen, if you are the only one in your area fishing out on your local body of water on a kayak, once again, who cares? Who cares how you catch your fish, right? There's days where I just want to jump in my truck and go fish on the bank, but I have all this other stuff around me to get out in the water if I want to, but I don't care what people think. So I don't want you guys to think that, well, I'm going to go buy a kayak, but I might be the only one around here on it. Once again, who cares? You are doing something that you completely love, something that helps you get out of the house, get out with nature, possibly help you heal. That's why I do Heroes on the Water, because being on a kayak is whether it's a kayak or a boat, it's another way for us to be able to deal with our PTSD or anything that's going on, because the people who fish or people who do fish understand that once we're out there on the water or on fishing on the bank, everything else in your life goes away. So this is just another means of you getting out on the water and enjoying what you do. So don't let other people discourage you and make you not want to get into the kayak scene, into the kayak world, because it is so cool right now, and there's things coming out that I can't talk about publicly yet, but there's some cool innovations coming out from so many different companies that it's going to make your life so much easier in the kayak world for going out to go fish. How we get our kayaks there is always our top priority. How easy is it to, launch your kayak? All those are big scenarios into making your choice getting into the kayak fishing scene. And like I said, there's some cool innovations coming out from companies that makes it even easier. It's already easy now, but it's going to get even easier. There's so many different kayak carts. There's so many different kayak trailers. There's so many different kayak dollies. All these companies are investing their money into these products to make it easier for us to get out there on the water and enjoy it. So whether you're young or old, doesn't make a difference. There's so many innovations out there to get you out there on the water and enjoy what we do. So once again, if you're watching this video, I'm hoping it helps you make the decision to come into our kayak fishing world, because you will not regret it. I don't care what people say on the internet. I don't care people saying that the industry is dying. It's not, guys. It's just a constant flow of ups and downs, just like any other sport, any other hobby, any other phase. But kayak fishing is not a phase. Fishing will always be around. Kayaking will always be around. It's just how we merge them together and how we get out there on the water, which has created the sport. And many say, oh, kayak fishing that's not a kayak. You guys are going around with motors and electronics. Yes, it's not a kayak. It's a fishing vessel. It's a boat for us to get out there on the water and fish. We're not out there for the exercise. Some of us may be, but me particularly, I'm not out there for exercise. If I want to exercise, I'm going to walk around my neighborhood or go for a jog or go to the gym. I'm out there to purely fish, enjoy the time I have on the water, get every innovation that I can afford to make it easier and faster for me to get out there and enjoy what we all love. To end this video and get you guys back on with your life, all I'm going to say is don't let anybody else discourage you, persuade you to not get a kayak and come out and have some fun with us. So hope this video helped some of you guys out there. I'm sure I missed some points that I wanted to talk about. You get my point. I said it enough. So grab a kayak, grab a friend, grab your family, go out there and be safe on the water, and I'll catch you on the water. See you guys soon. Thanks for watching.